how do you distill 25 years of experience into into a 30-second answer? Look, I think for me, there's a couple of core truths, and so if you put the customer at the center of what you do, and then think about how do we engage, scale, and support that customer, and then you build that at scale, and think about, well, how do I do this at scale? And that becomes everything from, what are the right kinds of resources to put around a customer at the right point in time, and then build back from that to build your business plan around what does the team need to look like, what do the interlocks need to look like, and then how do you create the right operating rhythms around the business to give predictability to your teams. And this is I think one of the sort of the little secrets, that if you can create an environment where you remove the barriers to your teams being able to support and make the customers successful, then they will become more and more successful, and then that will scale. And so if you can, my job as a leader a lot of the time now is, how do I think about what is the right operating rhythm to bring the right level of coaching and support and enablement to the teams, but also to maximize the amount of time they can actually spend with the customers. And so I think, and then I've got the curveball of doing that in Asia Pacific, which everyone talks about as one region, but honestly, I think there's more differences than similarities between the teams. Each country's got its own unique attributes and ways of reacting and engaging, and customers are in different stages of maturity, and our partner ecosystems are very different. Some countries were heavily channel-led, other countries were more direct. Some countries will use inside customer engagements, digital sales teams versus feet on the street. Different customer segmentation strategies, and being able to have that flexibility so you can create an operating framework for the teams to go and execute, and they can do it with comfort and assurity. And so being predictable, being very clear with them around what the expectations are, and what you're going to do to help them, but then what their accountability is back, but getting that balance between inspection versus review and test and improve and coaching. And I've been a big believer in shifting businesses away from the inspection mindset, which has historically driven a lot of sales organizations, to being much more of a coaching and a reviewing and an enablement and an acceleration. So you're building those competencies and capabilities in the teams to make them successful in their own right. And that for me is I guess the exciting opportunity moving forward. And as a leader, something I always think that if you get that balance right, that's when organizations really start to fly. You break down the silos because everybody's clear on the outcomes we're trying to drive. You don't have internal conflict around resource allocation and those sorts of areas, because you keep the customer at the center of what we need to do. And I guess going back over my years, whether it was in Microsoft or Salesforce or even Oracle in my early days of my career, where I saw that work, that was what was successful. And I think I've tried to now build that into everything from the language we use as a team, the way we help people understand the priorities, the way we coach them and help them identify to spend their precious resource, whether that's your pre-sales resource, your customer success resource, or your own most personal precious resource, which is your time. I think they're the critical things that will set a team up for success, and I think help a business really grow and having that vision of where you want to go. So yeah, I guess it's a number of factors, but if I could bring it back to those kind of core, I bring it back to the customer, and then creating predictability for the team so they can go and do what they do best. Obviously having great people is core to that, but I think if you get those right, that's when you see an organization have great success.